And breaking this morning is Joe Biden pardoning his son, Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden above the law. I think I've seen that Steven Seagal movie, Above the Law. Great documentary film. Hey, Hunter Biden is a guy who's been in trouble with the law going back for a number of years. Tax evasion, guns. He's got issues with guns, drugs, prostitution. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But he's gotten a pass from his dad. Here to talk about that and other stories, Mike Koeniger, friend of the show. Let me ask you, are you surprised? I'm not surprised. We knew this was going to happen. His son was going to get a pass. We knew it. We just knew it.
Oh, how once Kamala lost the election, I knew this was going to happen, and I had suspected it. So when you actually informed me yesterday, because I don't do media on Sundays, so you texted to me that he had been pardoned. I was not terribly shocked. They have no political footing to lose because they already lost on November 5th. So this was a no-brainer as far as I was concerned. I was seeing comparisons this morning to Trump's pardon of Sheriff Arpaio out of Arizona, and how this is dramatically different than what the legacy media did to Trump over his pardoning of Arpaio, where apparently Biden's getting a pass, and Trump was told that he was subverting the justice system was the phrase they used. So
now let's not forget back in May, your friend Joe, he said he would not interfere with his son's cases. He would not pardon his son. He gave us his word. So
that was election rhetoric, Joe. And I'm sorry, but if you believe that, shame on you.
All right. So it's my responsibility to sort election rhetoric from other rhetoric. I'm supposed to make those distinct. Got it. Okay, I'm going to take a note.
Let me help you out, Joe. If a politician's lips are moving, he's lying.
Okay. So that's the tell. His lips are actually moving. What if they're speaking with telepathy? You know, then we're really
they're lying. Maybe they're lying.
The lips aren't moving. But they're telling me that I should trust them.
My point is this is the emblem of the swamp. Joe Biden is the emblem of the swamp. And when he said he was going to pardon his son, that was just to get votes for what he thought was his reelection campaign. And what shocked me more than the fact he pardoned Hunter is the period of time he pardoned Hunter for, from 2014 to present day. That's a huge chunk. So
it also coincides with our takeover of Ukraine. I mean, the regime change in Ukraine. Sorry, the inside voice keeps slipping out.
You mean the color revolution in Ukraine? What was it, orange?
Yeah, that's
orange revolution. Yes. And I think that's the tell. So what's going on here? And I know a lot of conservatives are hoping that Trump goes ahead and looks into, as he likes to call him, Crooked Joe. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to happen. Trump's going to let Joe off the hook just like he did Hillary 8 years ago. So that's not going to happen. So perhaps others will be caught up in the whirlwind. And, the question was posed this morning on the Insider Channel. Does this mean that Hunter cannot plead the Fifth Amendment? And it does mean that he can't plead the Fifth Amendment because he can't get convicted. That interesting? He's already been pardoned. So is Joe throwing someone under the bus that we have not, and we don't know who it is, so to speak, is my question.
Yeah, I just want to read this first paragraph today. It says, today I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision-making, and I kept my word, even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. The poor fella, unfairly prosecuted all the way. Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases of buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they file or filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. I would agree. Hunter was absolutely treated differently. He was treated differently in the fact that even despite the fact that his family was knee-deep in corrupted business in the Ukraine, in Russia, and in China, never held to an account for any of those things. So I totally agree. He was treated differently. Don't you think, Mike?
Oh, I know he was, and anyone who follows either of those issues know he was. I mean, you don't have to be involved in gun news and firearms news for very long, whether you get the emails from your local state organizations or whatever, to find out people are prosecuted and sent to prison under these laws all the time. And some jurisdictions are even looking at the medical marijuana cards, if such a thing really exists, and comparing them to the gun records and finding and prosecuting people who have violated the law. So certainly Hunter was treated with kid gloves. He had a nice cushy ride. Life was really good for him. And when it became so egregious that the justice system could no longer turn a blind eye is when they started to come after him a little bit. And so this is really, and it dovetails right with the other issue I wanted to talk about. This is why Trump is proposing Kash Patel to come into the FBI, because contrary to what the legacy media would have us believe, the FBI has been politicized, and they have come after conservatives the last 4 years or 12 of the last 16 years. And you and I both know this. Pro-life people are sitting in penitentiaries right now being prosecuted for things that historically have been considered minor offenses, and they're sent home with a slap on the wrist. And we know that the Justice Department, and particularly the FBI, has been used to combat traditional Catholics. And it's not an issue I'll go into again, but we're both well aware it's happened. So I think it's interesting that Joe acknowledges, even though not the way you and I mean it, he acknowledges his son had different treatment. You and I know that he was let off very easy. I think Joe sees it the other way. But, Kash Patel scares the legacy media because they're worried that Trump's going to do what Biden has already done. I don't know that there's evidence for that, Joe. If you think there is, please argue with me here. But I didn't see Trump do that in his first term. I don't know why he would start doing it in his second. I think what he's going to truly look for is a full realignment of the FBI and their goals, and taking the politics out of the FBI. At least that's my hope. So maybe
It is interesting. Kash Patel being named as the potential FBI head. Christopher Wray still has time on the clock. It's a 10-year appointment, and it was Donald Trump who appointed Christopher Wray, and he's not done with his 10-year appointment. So I guess Christopher Wray just got the memo. Hey, I guess I'm done here. I'm packing my bags, packing up the office early. He's got lots of warning ahead of time that he's about to lose his job. I mean, it wasn't like it was obvious anyway. But I mean, do I hear shredder trucks pulling up to the FBI building right now in Washington D.C.? Because one of Kash Patel's first days on the job is to shut down the office, he said, and to move all of those employees out west to really to revamp and reform the work of the FBI. So he's obviously signaled to everybody in the deep state of the FBI, let's just say, that their days are numbered. They're not going to sit around to take this idly. That's the one thing about about all of this that I keep thinking is, like, it's not as though the deep state, the bureaucracy, the unelected machine of Washington, D.C., they're not just going to go, oh, shucks, I guess we lost this one.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, they're going to push back. Do you think Trump can handle that? Do you think he's up for that? Do you think all these appointments, do you think they're capable of handling all that?
I don't think so, Joe. I'm from that area of the swamp. I grew up there. I rode the subway when I was stationed there in the Coast Guard. All those folks do on the Metro is sit and strategize how they're going to keep their job for 30, 40 minutes as they go into D.C. And I'm not being funny. The 5 of the 10 richest counties in the United States surround D.C. It's not because of all those good entrepreneurs in D.C. doing great stuff. Let's be honest. So, including Prince William County and others here in Virginia. So it's interesting. And you're right. Now, can Trump cut out the most egregious forms of cancer that are in the system? I have optimism for that, but he's not going to solve this issue. It took us 100 years to get here since the progressive era started 100 years ago. It's going to take us 100 years to get it out of here. The question is, Joe, can our republic survive long enough to get it out? And that's the big question to me.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a big question. Do you think there'll be enough or support in Congress to to back these nominations? I mean, obviously Matt Gaetz has already fallen, and we've had a replacement with Pam Bondi. So do you think they're going to support Kash Patel?
I looked at his resume this morning. He has the boxes checked. I took a good look at it this morning, and I found it on Twitter. He certainly has the boxes checked. Will it pay to go after him using his writings? Which, if you're old enough like I am to remember the Robert Bork hearings, that's how they got Bork. They went to his prior writings and started citing his prior writings when he was up for Supreme Court. Will they do that to Kash Patel? And that's the question. And can they do it well enough to flip six Republican senators? That becomes the question, Joe. Republicans have always, for some reason, been driven by this incessant need to have the legacy media and their colleagues across the aisle love them. Oh, he's bipartisan. Oh, he's a wonderful guy. Susan, what's her name? Susan Collins, isn't it? The senator or those people. They've always had this incessant need to be loved by the other side. And so it's a decent question. You know, I don't gamble, Joe, but I wouldn't bet $1 that some of these nominees go down because the Republicans flip on them. And the question becomes, you know, if we were going to have a little pool, how many is the question? How many will go down? I think they're going to have a hard time with Gabbard because she's one of them. So they probably won't come after her. A guy like Patel, they may come after Kash Patel. He's never served in Congress. He's an easy target. And so we'll see. It's interesting.
We'll see.
Joe, as I say every week, let's just keep praying for our nation. Let's keep praying for our leaders. And of course, let's keep praying for our own salvation and the salvation of these men and women.
Did you like that video? It's okay. You can admit it. It's perfectly fine. Hey, we cover the big stories of our day, from inside the church to outside the church to all points in between, and we do it from a Catholic perspective. It's called A Catholic Take. It's a radio program Monday through Friday. We live stream it right here on this channel, by the way, so make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We would be very grateful to you. And don't forget, you're going to want to watch this video right here because you don't want to miss anything.